Hello everyone, Adrienne here. So today is a very exciting video. I still can't believe this is finally happening, but today I am doing a very highly requested video, which is a cross comparison of all 5 of the Jade Absinthes. So super exciting. I can't think of a better way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Also, happy September. I just wanted to get a couple of things out of the way before we get started here. So one, there was a fair bit of smoke pollution happening in my area, which is Whidbey Island in Washington State. Yeah, smoke pollution and I are not friends. Now, if you guys have been following me for a while, you are probably aware of the fact that I suffer from severe airborne allergies. Just to give you an example of how severe my allergies are, I had to be on allergy shots for about 10 years. That wasn't fun. And I'm glad that I weaned myself off of them since moving to the island because the atmosphere here definitely agreed with me a lot more, which is great. However, every now and then there will be bouts of smoke pollution that will come around and decide to rough me up a little. I'll show you a picture of what tends to happen at the very worst conditions of smoke pollution right here. This is an allergic reaction that I get around my mouth whenever there is severe smoke pollution. So just to give you an idea that severe airborne allergies are not a joke. That being said, my sense of smell, possibly my sense of taste, may be just a little bit compromised due to my severe airborne allergies. I promise I'm okay. I don't have any sores around my mouth. We're good, okay? But I just wanted to let you guys know that my sense of smell and taste might be just a teensy bit compromised, but I've done everything I can to soothe my throat and to clear out my sinuses and to get rid of any congestion that's hanging around in there. So I think we'll be okay. All right, so we are going to compare all 5 of the Jade Absinthes. So super exciting. So we're going to be starting with Jade 1901 and then moving on to Jade Nouvelle-Orléans. And then we're going to be moving on to Jade CF Berger, beautiful. And then Jade Esprit Edouard. Looks like I'm almost out of this one. I'm very sad. It's just that, man, this is just really good in cocktails. I'm sorry. And then finally, we're going to be doing Jade Terminus Oxygenée. So essentially the way that I'm going to go about doing this, because I don't want this to be like a rushed version of my comprehensive review of each and every one of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, just for example here, I'm going to examine each aspect of each absinthe separately. So I will attack each category like one at a time across all of these absinthes. And then I will take notes. I actually have sticky notes over here to correspond with everything I'm going to be doing today. Great. So for example, I'm going to be starting with Jade 1901, like starting with the appearance. The appearance is the first thing that you look at when you are evaluating an absinthe, especially for its quality. So I'm going to evaluate the appearance of Jade 1901, Nouvelle-Orléans, and then CF Berger, and then Edouard, and then Terminus Oxygenée, and then move on to the next category, which is the Louche, and then move on to the next category, which is the Aroma, and then next category flavor, and then last category mouthfeel. So that's how it's going to go. It's going to be a little bit challenging, but I have sticky notes to keep me on track with everything. Essentially, as soon as I'm done pouring all of these, I am going to set them aside so that I can see exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm sorry that you won't get to see all the beautiful like bottle artwork that basically shows off what a gorgeous product these Jades are, but it's going to be great. This has been highly requested pretty much ever since I did my review of Jade Terminus Oxygenée. So this will be interesting. It really wasn't easy getting ready to film this video today because we did have a couple of setbacks, but I'm gonna power through it. Your girl doesn't give up. Alrighty, so I'm going to fill up my absinthe fountain with ice and we are gonna get started. So exciting! All right, everyone, we are going to get started with our evaluation. I'm super excited. So, if you hear just a little bit of background noise, I'm terribly sorry. I just have a fan pointed at me because it's a little toasty in here and I can't open the window because of the smoke pollution. So I have to survive somehow. So I will show you my little secret weapon for getting through all 5 of these Jades. I'm going to be using these adorable little shot glasses. I love these. I found these on Amazon. They're beautiful, they're totally my style, and I'm going to be using these as little sample sizes for each of the Jades here. It's going to be great. All right, so essentially as I pour each Jade, I will set all of these bottles aside, and I have little sticky notes on my table here so that I can separate these and tell them apart. So let's start with Jade 1901. Great, so exciting. Oh God, I'm getting close to the end of my bottle here. Okay, so for Jade 1901, now keep in mind, this is the first absinthe that I ever purchased. Well, the first Jade absinthe I ever purchased. And it seems to have lost a little bit of its color since the last time that I had some, which isn't that big of a deal. You know, this has been floating around in my absinthe cabinet for the past like 5 years, so I'm not too broken up or heartbroken about the slight fading of color, but it's still really beautiful and has the correct shade for absinthe. It's a very pale peridot color, crystal clear, obviously, as a Jade should be. So for appearance, I'm going to give this 4 stars. Okay, so now we're going to pour our Jade Nouvelle-Orléans, and this is probably like the most sentimental absinthe in my collection because Kenny and I drank this one the night we got engaged to celebrate our engagement. I still can't believe that was like 2.5 years ago. Crazy. Okay, so for the Jade Nouvelle-Orléans, it is a little bit more vibrant. It has a little bit more of like a tinge of lime, a little bit more of an intense peridot color. Really pretty, and I still cannot believe like how gorgeous this is. Yeah, you can see how like full-bodied and full-colored that is. That is so gorgeous. So for appearance on this one, I'm going to go ahead and give this one 5 stars. And now we are evaluating the CF Berger. Now, as it stands right now, this is actually like what I would consider the least favorite of the Jades. But even still, even with it being my least favorite of the Jades, it's still a fucking Jade. You know, so obviously it's top notch. You really cannot go wrong with any of these. I'm not going by anything precise, just kind of eyeballing it. A lot of people kind of make fun of me for eyeballing it when I cook, and I just do it until it feels right. Okay, so this is CF Berger, and as you can see, it has a really lovely, a little bit more leaning toward gold with its color, but it's still a gorgeous peridot. Crystal clear, beautiful, I love it. Man, that just smells so different from the rest of the Jades, but it's still really lovely. And no, I'm not taking shots. Get that idea out of your head. Appearance, I'm going to give this about 4.5 stars. It has a little bit of cloudiness, but that's not a big deal. I've had this for about a year. All right, so this is Jade Esprit Edouard. Now, it's a little weird that it's cloudy. There may have been just a little bit of residual water left over after I rinsed these glasses out to make sure that they would be in tip-top shape for doing these reviews. Or it's just that it's reached that awkward stage about a year after you open it where they get a little icky and then sweeten up and get wonderful again. So I would say for appearance, this is going to be 4 stars. Yeah, like otherwise it's usually a really pretty color and very close to what Jade Nouvelle-Orléans looks like. I'm just going to attribute this to the aging process because sometimes it happens, and I'm also getting close to the bottom of the bottle, so that could be it too. Weird how that stuff happens, right? There's so many factors that go into absinthe, and that's why we're doing this today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so last but definitely not least, we are doing Jade Terminus Oxygenée, which is my favorite. Of course, evaluating these individually may possibly change my perception. It's always possible. Sometimes you just need a little refresher of all of them. Oh my god. This is Jade Terminus Oxygenée, crystal clear, absolutely beautiful, and if it tells you anything about Jade Terminus Oxygenée, this is my 2nd bottle of it. So, obviously it's my favorite, I love it. This is so beautiful. It is a true peridot color. Like, I'm literally wearing a peridot ring, and it's a perfect match. This is the ideal color for absinthe. Crystal clear, peridot. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. And so for this one, I'm definitely going to give the rare 5 stars. I very rarely give 5 stars for the appearance on Absinthe, but in my opinion, this one earned it. Okay, so now we're moving on to evaluating the Louche on these absinthes. So starting with Jade 1901. Immediate Louche, really nice. Wow. I'll try to zoom in on this, but seeing it up close... Hey honey, come see this! Look how pretty that is.
Okay. Well then I will...
Be at the ready?
Yes. I'll just stay out of frame, because I'm not dressed.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll try to zoom in on this in my post-editing system, but you can see that. Immediate Louche, it looks beautiful. It's turning a very pretty, like, milky jade color, which is exactly what you want for a jade. So yeah, I think because it has gotten a little bit older, that it has lost a little bit of the green tinge, which is fine. That happens every now and then. I don't object to that. And, oh god, it's so pretty. There's still a little bit of the clear green layer of absinthe at the top, but that's okay. I may have overmeasured these just a little bit, but that's okay. These are sample sizes, and sometimes they're really good with a ratio of 1 to 2. For the Louche on Jade 1901, I'm going to give that 4.5 stars. Thick opalescent Louche, it passes the light test, Louched right away. That's what we like. Okay, so now we are moving on to Jade Nouvelle-Orléans. So a little bit of a lime green color, really pretty. And like I said, I'll try to zoom in on these in post-production so that you guys can see. Gosh, seeing it up close, even though I don't have my glasses on, it's beautiful. Oh my god. You can see the oils being driven out the second that the water hits it. It's so pretty. I'm trying to be as slow and deliberate as I can. So a little bit of green at the top, that's okay. Again, I think I overpoured these just a little bit, but that's fine. I'm definitely not going to drink these pure. No way. But Louche is beautiful. It's still maintaining that gorgeous green color, and it still has that clear layer at the top. That clear layer at the top, honestly, like, the master distiller who makes these, Ted Breaux, thinks that you get the perfect drink when that clear layer at the top disappears, and I think I agree. And again, sometimes it's okay to drink absinthe when there is a more even ratio between water and absinthe. So yeah, anyway. So the Louche on that one, I am going to give 5 stars. It's beautiful, complex, passes my light test, really lovely. Just amazing. Okay, so here is CF Berger. I'm going to do the Louche on this one. I remember it being a really nice Louche. It's been a while since I've had it in its traditional French drip form. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see that up close when I get really tight in that shot. That's what she said, getting really tight. Just kidding. Yeah, really pretty, immediately forming. You can see that clear layer at the top, really nice. Kind of a little bit similar to the Nouvelle-Orléans, but just a little bit more of a hint of gold. It's really nice. Take a shot every time she says nice. Just kidding. I can go for a little bit more. Okay, whoopsie. Okay, so this is CF Berger. I think probably overpoured it just a little bit. I probably should have thought my proportions out a little bit better, but that's okay. So Louche passes the light test. It's a little bit more of a golden color, but still has that little layer of green at the top. Trying really hard not to spill this, but you know, really pretty. Really, really pretty and impenetrable. So while it may be like super pretty, it's not like quite as complex and gorgeous as maybe like Nouvelle-Orléans quite, but it still gets a really good rating in my opinion. I would rate it a 4.5. And of course, right as I was beginning the Louche for Jade Esprit Edouard, my camera overheated. Of course it did. Gross. I'm so sorry, guys. But let's go ahead and continue here. Try to keep my little hand out of the way so you guys can see what's happening here. Looks like there's a little piece of sediment at the bottom. Sorry about that. Probably a little gross looking. Still not going to stop me from drinking it. Yeah, probably another indication of it being bottom of the bottle, maybe. Okay, so here is Jade Esprit Edouard. Really pretty Louche, still a little golden, still kind of clinging to that milky green color. Yeah, just really beautiful. I love it. This is definitely probably higher up on one of my favorites, but that's just me, of course. It has a bit of a darker Louche than the other ones I'm noticing, just a little bit darker, but that's okay. That's great. I don't mind at all. Okay, so for Louche on that one, I will give it 5 stars. Okay, so next one, Jade Terminus Oxygenée, my favorite one. So let's check this out. So as you can see, immediately forming, really beautiful. Gosh, so many gorgeous shades of green just dancing around in there. I love it. Like, one of the things I really love doing ever since I started doing these absinthe reviews and doing reviews of these absinthes on TikTok and everything is being able to film the Louches in slow motion. I really love showing people what happens on a slow-mo level with these gorgeous, gorgeous absinthes. You can see the oils and everything just coming out. Really beautiful. Can you tell I love absinthe? So yeah, the Louche is practically immediate at a ratio of 1:2. And there's still that thin layer at the top. It's getting close to complete there. Really beautiful color that's still clinging to that beautiful peridot green even after the water is added. This is just amazing. Yeah, I'll try to like crop in so you guys can see this closer. I really should have zoomed in on this, but that's okay. Okay, still has a slight layer of clear green at the top. Gorgeous Louche. Like, I seriously have... I'll be honest, like... It's a pretty stiff competition between the Louche of Edouard and the Louche of Jade Terminus Oxygenée because they're both so pretty. Just... I really do love the peridot green of the Terminus Oxygenée, though. It's so gorgeous. So yeah, this is Esprit Edouard. There's still a little bit of layer up there. Yeah, all of these still have a tiny layer lingering at the top. So I think it's honestly like no contest. I would say that the Louche for Jade Terminus Oxygenée is probably my favorite. It just is so multi-dimensional, really pretty. Just absolutely love it. All right, guys, so now that we have completed the process of the Louche for each absinthe here, we are going to evaluate the aroma and the flavor and mouthfeel. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention today is that this is my 50th absinthe review. Crazy, isn't it? So that's why I decided to do the 5-in-1 Jade review today, was to celebrate 50 reviews. Yay. But anyway, let's carry on with evaluating these Jades. Now, unfortunately, I am having a lot of setbacks in filming this video today. My camera keeps overheating. I have to keep switching out the batteries, letting it cool off. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me, and this has been a difficult video to film because of these setbacks, but I know it'll be worth it. Okay, so now we're going to evaluate the aroma of all of these absinthes. So starting with Jade 1901. Gosh, look how beautiful that is. It's so pretty. It's just so fresh. You have that alpine freshness that I really like. You're not really getting as much on the green anise in there, but you are getting a little bit more sweet fennel, which I don't necessarily object to. Tiny bite of wormwood. Now, I will say that this smells the sweetest out of all of them. And that's always been my impression, is that Jade 1901 is really sweet and really smooth, but there are more things that some of the other Jades can offer other than sweetness and smoothness, even though sweetness and smoothness is really nice. So for the aroma for Jade 1901, I'm going to give that 4.5 stars. All right, now we're checking out Jade Nouvelle-Orléans. Again, really pretty color. You can see that. So pretty. Love it. Now, this one is a little bit more spicy. So this has some like southern influenced flavors. So you have southern inspired like spices or Cajun spices in there. So the secondary spices are definitely more on display, more so than the Holy Trinity, but you still get like the sweet fennel and the green anise in there from the Holy Trinity, but they're really nicely complemented by the spiciness. So the best way to describe this is spicy. So it has a good spice to it. Really lovely. I can practically smell the air the night that Kenny proposed to me. It's really lovely. So for that one, I will give it 4.5 stars for aroma. And for CF Berger here, again, you really cannot go wrong with the Jades, but yeah. So this is CF Berger. Now this one is just like really fresh and piney, and it has a really interesting like powdery fragrance that I really like. I would say that the fennel is the most present of the Holy Trinity in this one, and you have a little bit more bitterness. It's a little more rustic, so it's rustic and powdery at the same time. It's really, really interesting. One thing that this absinthe was famous for was its baby powder finish in the pre-ban era, because CF Berger was a pre-ban brand of absinthe that was recreated, of course, by Ted Breaux. So yeah, powdery, fresh, really interesting. I really like it. So for aroma on this one, I will give it 4.5 stars. Okay, so now we're checking out Jade Esprit Edouard. Now this one definitely like grabs you by the throat and pulls you in a sexy way, of course. The Holy Trinity is on display. It's a little bit more citrusy, like I'm getting a little bit more lemon balm, which is really interesting. And boy, she does not back down. Really nice. The Holy Trinity is on full display here, I would say. You're kind of getting a little bit less of the anise and more of the bite of wormwood and maybe some other botanicals in there. Maybe that's hyssop, that other botanical in there that's really adding a little bit more like spiciness, like not quite as spicy as Jade Nouvelle-Orléans, but there is a hint of spiciness in there. It's really interesting. Still has that really nice like freshness. Really lovely. So for this one, I will go ahead and give it the rare 5 stars that I very rarely give for aroma. But it just comes really close to traditional absinthe, like traditional pre-ban absinthe. Okay, last one. This is Jade Terminus Oxygenée. Gosh, every time I look at the Louche on this thing, it's just fucking gorgeous. It really is. Okay, so we're not here for the Louche. We've already evaluated the Louche, Adrian. Come on. Okay. Oh my god, it's so good. This brings me right back to having that Père Nofis pre-ban from 1900. Just, I can stick my nose in this and smell this, and then I'm immediately just taken back to the moment where I had pre-ban absinthe for the first time. I just about lost my mind. I cannot believe how gorgeous this is. So the Holy Trinity is on full display. This is a little bit more forward on the anise. has the fennel definitely on full display. Hyssop, it's a little earthy, it's floral, it's a little spicy. I personally think, like, this is my favorite out of all the Jades. It is absolutely incredible. And the reason why it's my favorite of the Jades is because it's the absolute closest I've ever had to pre-ban absinthe. Definitely has a little bit of bite to it, even in the nose. Kenny probably likes this one the least because it's so forward on the anise compared to the other ones, but God, it's still so good. And yes, I will be having Kenny coming in and tasting these to give you guys his perspective, because I know you guys also respect his opinion as a non-absinthe lover. So there's that. Okay, so for aroma on Jade Terminus Oxygenée, I am going to give that 5 stars. Okay, so now we're going to evaluate the flavor of all of these, starting with Jade 1901. So here's Jade 1901. Beautiful, lovely. And as always, saltez, and please drink responsibly. Boy, that goes down really smooth. Even though there's a bit of a higher ratio between the water and the absinthe, it still goes down so smoothly. Oh God, it's making me drool. Oh gosh, that's so good. Yeah, I still stand by my earlier statement where it is sweet and smooth. And I usually recommend this one for beginners that are still getting into absinthe. If they have the budget and they want to invest in a high-end absinthe that is made in strict accordance to tradition, then I usually recommend this one, and they really, really love it. It's so nice and sweet. So for the flavor for Jade 1901, I am going to give that 4.5 stars because it is absolutely magnificent and a really good introductory Jade for someone if they're interested in getting started with a high-end absinthe. Okay, so this one is Jade Nouvelle-Orléans. I'm really excited to try this one again. It's been a while since I've actually drank it. So let's go in for it. Yeah, she actually like burns a little bit, but in a spicy kind of burn, not like an alcohol kind of burn. Really nice. And that burn, I think, is coming from those Cajun inspired spices that are coming through. Just oof, really good. Really, really good. And I once said in my first review of Jade Nouvelle-Orléans that it had kind of a coriander kind of spiciness to it, or maybe like white pepper, I don't know. You know, definitely very Cajun inspired, and I would say the Holy Trinity is there, but it shares a stage with the other botanicals that are really making this unique and interesting. Okay, so for flavor on this one, I will give it 4.5 stars as well. It has uniqueness going for it. It has the structure of a traditional absinthe, but it also has those other like spices and aromas and flavors in there that really round it out and make it interesting. Ted specifically said that if he were a distiller in New Orleans in the 19th century, that he would have made an absinthe just like this, inspired by New Orleans. Okay, so now we're going on to Jade CF Berger. So once again, for a refresher, this is what it looks like. It's beautiful, love it. It's just so powdery fresh and lovely. So good. Okay, so once again, bottoms up. Oh man, it has that really nice like powdery finish. Like it has a little bit of fruitiness. It has that powdery finish. It's fresh, it's minty. It's a little bit rustic. It's just so nice. And the mouthfeel on that one's really nice too, but we'll get to that, of course. Wow, that is so good. So for this one, I want to give it 5 stars because it is made according to a pre-ban absinthe, pre-ban recipe and everything. Really good. And you can still taste the Holy Trinity in there. You really get that interesting like fruitiness that is kind of overshadowing it just a little bit, or just kind of sweetening it up. And that powdery finish is just ridiculously good. So now we're going for Jade Esprit Edouard. Now this one's gonna pack a punch, so I will definitely dilute this after I have my take of it. So yeah. All right, so going in, let's do this. Oh yeah. Definitely has that sweetness. It definitely comes in and packs a punch with the wormwood in there and the other spices and herbs in there. Really beautiful, really Has a little bit of an alcoholic burn, but that's because this has the highest alcohol content out of all the Jades. Most of them are at 68%. This is at 72%, so it does pack a little bit more of a punch. Yeah, it has the sweetness, it has the Holy Trinity, it has a little bit of spiciness. Oh gosh, it's just so good. So for this one, I also want to give that 5 stars. It is so traditionally structured and it's spicy, and even though it's 72%, it doesn't make you go, you know, like, you know, typically when you take shots, or even though it punches you in the face, it's really loving about it. So that's what I like about it. Okay, so last one, Jade Terminus Oxygenée. Once again, santé, and please drink responsibly. Oh God. I don't know how many times I've had this absinthe, but every single time it takes my breath away. It has the Holy Trinity on full display. It has a little bit of spiciness, earthiness, like really lovely floral flavors. Oh, God, that's so nice. And it has that citrusy thing going on. I really love it. Oh, Lordy. It's so good. It just makes me smile and takes my breath away every single time. And again, I think part of the reason why it does take my breath away every single time is because it reminds me so much of having that pre-ban absinthe. It's the absolute closest. So honestly, if you want the absolute closest to pre-ban absinthe in the modern era, you need to get Jade Terminus Oxygenée. That's what you need. So obviously for flavor on this one, I will give it 5 stars. Okay, so now we're evaluating the mouthfeel of each absinthe and see how that goes. So this is Jade 1901. Yeah, that one probably has like the best mouthfeel out of all of them. That's probably what it has going for it the most, in my opinion. So for mouthfeel, I will give that one 5 stars. It just really clings to the inside of your mouth really nicely. And oh gosh, it's so lovely. It is making me a little bit nostalgic because that was my first Jade absinthe that I've ever had. So obviously I love it. So yeah, 5 stars for this one. Okay, so this is Jade Nouvelle-Orléans, and let's check it out. Yeah, the spices really linger nicely on this one. So you get that kind of spicy mouthfeel. It's still really smooth, but not quite as smooth and sweet as Jade 1901. Still really nice though. So mouthfeel, I want to give that 4.5 stars. And next up we have CF Berger. Oh man, it has that really nice powdery, like fruity kind of mouthfeel. Really, really nice. I want to give that one honestly 5 stars. Really good. And then for Jade Esprit Edouard, let's check this one out. That one definitely has like a tingly mouthfeel that's still really, really lovely. And it's a little spicy too, a little bit of heat, but it just doesn't go down quite as smoothly as maybe like Jade Terminus Oxygenée, but it's still really nice. So mouthfeel on that one, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. And then last but not least, we have Jade Terminus Oxygenée. Okay, so here it is, Jade Terminus Oxygenée. I'm excited about it. Okay, it's a little tingly, really smooth, really, really lovely. Even though it may not have as smooth of a mouthfeel as maybe Jade 1901, it still leaves you with just a little bit tingly, and it has a sweeter kind of finish, a little bit spicy. Oh my God, it's so good. That is definitely still hands down my favorite absinthe. Definitely my favorite of the Jades, and definitely like my favorite of all time. So for mouthfeel, I'm going to give that 4.75. That's where I'm going to rate it. Okay, so let's go through all of these scores, and as soon as I go through all these scores, I will bring my husband in here, and he will taste all of them for himself. All right, guys, so I'm going to give an overview of all of the Jade absinthes. So for Jade 1901, the appearance was 4 stars, Louche 4.5 stars, Aroma 4.5 stars, Flavor 4.5 stars, Mouthfeel 5 stars. So with Jade 1901, which is this one, the thing to keep in mind is that yes, this very closely follows pre-ban standards for absinthe. I would say that this is a really good one for a beginner that wants to kind of move up and try something a little bit more high end, because I think that this one really hits all the marks for pleasing a beginner palate. It's really sweet, has a really nice mouthfeel, and despite it being 68% alcohol, it is really tolerable, like really nice for a beginner. So if you're a beginner and you want to get into high-end absinthe, get Jade 1901. So for the next one, this is going to be Jade Nouvelle-Orléans. So this one, the appearance was 5 stars, Louche 5 stars, Aroma 4.5 stars, flavor 4.5 stars, and mouthfeel 4.5 stars. So I would say that this is one more aimed at someone who's a little bit more familiar and comfortable with absinthe. So like they're familiar with the Holy Trinity, but they want something a little different. So I would say that this is more slated for an intermediate absinthe drinker, but still really, really nice. Obviously, like I said, it does have some sentimental value in it, with it, just like not only because, you know, the distiller signed it for me, but also because my husband and I drank it the night we got engaged. It's really, really special. It's spicy, it's different. I think you guys will like it if you're more of an intermediate absinthe drinker wanting something different. So for CF Berger, the appearance on this one was 4.5 stars, the Louche 4.5 stars, Aroma 4.5 stars, flavor 5 stars, and mouthfeel 5 stars. So I would say that this is... It's kind of hard to say. I want to say, like, if you are interested in trying a reinterpretation or a revival of a pre-ban absinthe, this is a good one for you. I would say it's still tolerable without sugar. It still has like a really nice sweet powdery finish that I think a beginner would really like. But that's just me. I'm kind of at a loss for describing this one, but I will let Kenny kind of interject and give his final thoughts on it. So, Jade Esprit Edouard. So, for the appearance, I gave it 4 stars, Louche 5 stars, Aroma 5 stars, flavor 5 stars, and then mouthfeel 4.5 stars. So, I would say if you are looking into something that is really good to use for cocktails. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. CF Berger, I would also definitely use for cocktails. It has a really nice flavor for cocktails. Anyway, carrying on. So, Jade Esprit Edouard is really good in cocktails. It has a really nice, like, strong, spicy flavor, and the Holy Trinity is on full display. So, this is a really good representation of a pre-ban absinthe. It is really strong. So, if you want something stronger and you want something that leans a little bit more toward pre-ban absinthe, I would definitely recommend this one. This one starts out sweet and definitely, like, kind of clenches your throat very sexily. At least I think so anyway. I would say this is a little bit more for someone who's between beginner and intermediate absinthe drinker. And finally, last but not least, this is Jade Terminus Oxygenée. So the rating I will give Jade Terminus Oxygenée, 5 stars for appearance, 5 stars for Louche, 5 stars for aroma, 5 stars for flavor, and mouthfeel 4.75 stars. This one I would definitely recommend for people who are more of like an intermediate or more advanced absinthe drinker. So it has a lot going for it. It has a wonderful mouthfeel. It's not quite as good of a mouthfeel as maybe Jade 1901, but it has a lot of really wonderful things going for it. So if you want something that is as close as humanly possible to pre-ban absinthe and how pre-ban absinthe tasted, this is going to be your guy or your gal. If you want something as close to what pre-ban absinthe tasted back before like 1915, this is it. Because this is the absolute closest I've ever had to pre-ban absinthe. This is aged for 6 years, okay? Before it's even bottled. Jade Terminus Oxygenée does not mess around. The aging makes a huge difference. It is such a beautiful color, beautiful aroma. It has an amazing taste. It's sweet, it's spicy, it's earthy, it's floral. Oh my god, it has so much to offer. It has so much complexity. So that's why I would say I would recommend this for someone who's more of an intermediate or advanced absinthe drinker, or if you are genuinely curious about what absinthe tasted like in the pre-ban era. This is it. I cannot recommend Jade Terminus Oxygenée enough. And that still remains my favorite. I mean, even looking at the ratings for everything, Jade Terminus Oxygenée is rated the highest. So now we're going to bring my lovely, sweet, sweet husband in here and have him taste each of these and see what he thinks. See which one he likes the most. And this is coming from the perspective, mind you, that He does not like absinthe. And I have water for you as well.
Okay, good, because I heard you talking. I was like, oh, she's talking about me. Okay.
So, this is Jade 1901.
This is the sniff test. I can drink this. How much do you, like, have you already been sipping on this, or is this
Yes.
a whole glass from, okay.
I added more water. Sure. I remember you liking this one a while ago, like a couple years ago.
Yeah, no, this one I could drink. In fact, I'll finish it. Let's finish it off.
Okay.
Why not?
Sure. Let me put the little sticky note for that one aside. Isn't that amazing? And
excuse me, I need some water.
Oh, yes.
I gotta cleanse my palate.
Okay, so this is Jade Nouvelle-Orléans. So this is the exact absinthe we drank the night we got engaged. Spicy?
Well, part of the problem is my nose is
a little
plugged,
stuffed.
But I don't smell this one as strongly as I smelled the other one.
Really? Interesting. Okay.
Still smooth, though.
Still really smooth?
Goes down easy.
And the Holy Trinity is not necessarily on full display with this one.
I'm not getting punched in the face with licorice.
Okay. So this is CF Berger.
Okay, that's coming through a little stronger in the nose.
Which is weird because that one actually has a lower alcohol content. Actually the lowest alcohol content of all the Jades.
You can definitely taste it's got the lowest alcohol content of them.
You think so?
Yeah.
Not as much of a burn?
Yeah, it's, of course it might be because I'm having them in quick succession. I was thinking to myself, it's like, man, I've got a little bit of like a numbness on the tongue here from when I had that one. Mm-hmm. But to be fair, it was the third one.
Yep.
So it would definitely change it a little bit, but it went down, it just went down easy. It's.
Would you say it has a powdery finish?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. That's a common thing I hear with Jade CF Berger. This is Jade Esprit Edouard. And that one has the highest alcohol content of all the Jades. I can tell you don't like that one.
Yeah, I don't like that one nearly as much. That one's got too much licorice flavor to it. I can feel it on the sides of the tongue.
You're almost through, Kenny. I believe in you. I can't believe you downed that 1901. So you're saying that if I run out, you would appreciate another bottle of that being on hand?
Yeah, it's not, terrible.
Okay.
Again, absinthe is never going to be my go-to, like, oh, I feel like a glass of absinthe today. That's never going to happen.
No.
It's never going to happen.
But I appreciate you participating.
Yeah, but if you're like, I'm getting out all the fancy equipment, you want a glass? You're like, yeah, otherwise what's the point in getting it all out?
And this is Jade Terminus Oxygenée, which is my favorite.
Oh, I know it is. Yeah, I'm getting more licorice out of that one, too.
So, would you say that Edouard is more licoricey or
Edouard's
Terminus?
more, Eddie over there, he's way more licoricey than that one.
Okay.
But the two of those are way more licoricey than the other three.
Than the other three? Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd say like 1901's probably more forward on the fennel, maybe?
That's the one I downed the most, so I guess that's the one I like the most.
You like fennel?
Yeah.
It's in our Herbs de Provence. So if you had to choose between Edouard and Terminus, you would choose the Terminus.
Yeah, it's got less. It's got less it's got less absinthe flavor is what I was going to say, but that's not true. It's got less licorice flavor.
Okay, so it's a little bit more balanced.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Good to know. Your ones that you would recommend for beginners maybe would be the 1901.
1901, and then the
CF Berger?
Yeah, probably Berger's next, yeah.
And then number 3 would be like Terminus?
No. Go. 1 is 1901, Berger next. This one...
Nouvelle-Orléans?
Yeah.
Okay.
4th would be Terminus,
and then 5th would be Edouard. Okay. I did say in my little overview statement here that Edouard would be more for like the intermediate to advanced absinthe drinker.
That's fair.
So
there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your input, honey. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I will be again.
Okay. Okay, guys, that was my comprehensive comparison of all 5 of the Jade absinthes. So, Kenny's opinion is that the Jade 1901 is his favorite, and then he likes the CF Berger, and then Nouvelle-Orléans, and then Jade Terminus Oxygenée, and then Esprit Edouard. Do with that information what you will. And again, this is coming from someone who does not like absinthe. Kenny definitely does not like absinthe. And then my final rating, here's how I would rate these. So for me, Jade Terminus Oxygenée is my favorite. Jade Esprit Edouard, I would say, is my second favorite. Jade 1901 is probably like my third favorite. And then Jade Nouvelle-Orléans, and then Jade CF Berger. So a little bit in kind of like opposite order of what Kenny said, but that's totally okay. You're getting the perspective of two people. Like, one person does not like absinthe and the other person is very experienced in absinthe and kind of has an idea of what they're looking for. So there you have it. That being said, everyone, thank you so much for watching. This video was a lot of work. Thank you so much for sticking with me. And oh my god, my camera overheated so many times. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I'm terribly sorry if you can hear the fan right now. It's kind of registering on my sound monitoring here. I'm so sorry. But thank you so much for watching. This was a lot of work. I really appreciate you sticking around. And I love you guys so much. And thank you to everyone who recommended that I do this cross comparison of all 5 of the Jade absinthes. I couldn't think of a better way to spend Sunday afternoon other than the difficulties and the hurdles that I had to cross. So thank you so much to my patrons also for your contributions every single month. I really, really appreciate it. And to everyone, you're amazing. I love you. I will see you guys later. And really quick, one last thing I'd like to say before I go. The next few weeks for me are going to be insane. I'm literally going to LA in like 3 weeks, maybe 4. I don't know. Kind of losing track of time here, but that's okay. But yeah, I'm literally going to LA to record my first original song in 4 weeks. And thank you so much for all of your encouraging words and support and everything. It really means a lot. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I love you, and I will see you guys later. Bye!